Hello, is this it? Are we on there? My mouth goes at a different time than everything is lagging. We always lag a bit here. Good morning. So, it's Nancy today. Oh my gosh. It's 5:30, I'm up. The sun is rising. I'm just sort of relaxing a little while, letting my body recognize the fact that it's morning and I'm up. Catch up with me. Or, if you're tired, having a problem with insomnia, you could just watch this and it'll help you fall asleep as I yawn all the time. So, I got vaccinated 2 weeks ago, and my grandchildren have been over. What a difference. What have I learned through this pandemic? Like, we're still under lockdown, but we've been vaccinated for 2 weeks. William's been vaccinated for 3. And other adults have been vaccinated now. Not quite as long. What is that dripping off the roof? I have to keep up with these things, I mean, it could be water. It could be a rainstorm. Oh. Well, guess what? I've set up the streaming thing. I don't know if it's working. It's on I'm just using, what is this? OBS Studio. Have you ever used it? I guess you can edit while you're going. Oh, it's previewing it all. What does that mean? How about, so the scene is supposed to be just me. And hello. Yeah, see, when I talk, the little lines come up. Dropped frames. 2871, 72%. Live, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Record, nothing. CPU, 6.8. KBS, 1027. 811. 687. 860. They put a new, what does this bar do here? They put in a new tower in the village. Oh, look, that's the other one. This is the program. This is what's happening, I guess. Oh, my mouth looks very crooked. Well, today is Sunday. There's a woman who lives in our branch, our area in the church, and she's in a local hospital, a local nursing home. She's only, I think at 40, 45 or something, she had an aneurysm burst. And so she's paraplegic, can use half her body. And so I go over there and hang out with her, and I realized when I saw somebody else there on Sunday morning that if you are considered an essential caregiver, which is like, oh, the sun is rising, the red is happening. Red happens on the sky. I've been analyzing this. Sunsets and sunrises. When is the best part of it? The best part of it is when the sun is just beyond the edge, on the other side of the surface of the earth, below the horizon. So either before the sun is up or after it has set. If you're at a lake, sometimes the colors before it sets are pretty cool. But that's when it turns all the clouds red. It's when it's down around the curve of the earth, shining up on the clouds, and we can no longer see it because we're up here. And the sun is now down here, and it's way out here though. But we can still easily hit all of the clouds up here. I'm noticing that because they're starting to turn now. I have done a lot of things. This room used to be our bedroom upstairs. We have once the children started moving out, and they would always be switching bedrooms, and so we got in the habit of, this is our upstairs was our winter bedroom where it was warmer when the winter heat came up from the wood stove, and our summer bedroom, which was downstairs, which wasn't as hot in the summer. And so then family moved in upstairs. They had the whole upstairs, and that was the little grandchildren and parents. But now I've put the bed back in here. It's the original bed that's been upstairs for years, I guess. Well, every time I get a new one, the old one moves somewhere else in the house and then eventually leaves. But, yeah, there's dripping off the roof. I guess it's the dawn. I've been playing my violin again. Do you realize I've been playing for 13 years? Let me say that again. 13 years ago I bought a violin, $150. Because to me that was pretty darn cheap, because I thought violins were like thousands. I didn't realize that you could get cheaper violins, especially from China. Cremora. Anyway, so 13 years I've been playing my violin, and in the beginning it was pretty rough. I was just using the music, and I couldn't play by ear very well. My mouth looked like one side is dripping and drooping. Raise both arms up. Smile. What is it? F-A-C-A. Your face. I don't know. Did that make any sense to you at all? I probably did it. I used to be, I was a person with many, many ideas. Excuse me. And I still am. Some things trigger the ideas better than others. This is a very strange way to do a video, doing it through the OBS. See, the reason to do that was to be able to show you Minecraft while I play Minecraft. But you can't switch back and forth between Minecraft and this game, or this program, because if you leave the Minecraft window, you can't go back into it. So you have to get this all set up and then go into the Minecraft window and play and just hope it's working. See, but now it's already streaming, which is what I would have to do. And then I would go in and now if I did it with the Minecraft, I put the camera, let's say the right side camera view, okay, and then I would have to go open Minecraft. I can only use one of my kinds of Minecraft. I'm really getting to have a lot of wonderful things. Okay, so let me go into that and get it open. Now, can you still see me? Because the camera's on. So I'm now loading the game. I'll click play. Let's see how this works. I am Nancy today. If you'd like to play Minecraft Java with me. Well, that's the one I'm on in here, but actually the one I play is the regular Minecraft. Because that's the one my grandchildren are in. And my son has put all the dangerous stuff on here now. Okay, so it's on. I'm back here now. I don't see it. So if we go here and do right side camera view, okay. Oh, and I have to click Minecraft Java. Alright. But you see, I don't see it now. So it's got the video capture device and the Minecraft Java. But you see, I'm not seeing the Java here at all. I mean, the Minecraft at all. Maybe you have to... My mouth just looks very crooked from here, doesn't it? Of course, I'm not opening my mouth here for it. I'm being a ventriloquist. I'm throwing my voice across the room. Can you tell? Yeah, it's over there. It's not here now. Remember the guy with the puppets who used to come on the Ed Sullivan show? Boy, I guess Ed Sullivan's show is a long time ago now. You know, these things that were not so long ago, it just gets longer and longer ago every year. Everything becomes so far away that people don't remember anything anymore. Now the side of the barn up there is turned red. Oh, and there are shadows on the side of the barn. I love seeing shadows. Do you like shadows? If you see the shadows of leaves on the trees or something, it's very pretty. I'm going to say a prayer. Prayer time! Okay, close your eyes, close your eyes. After I put my hair thing up here. Trying the streaming thing has been kind of rough. I watched a video how to hook up Minecraft and stream with OBS, and then I did everything it said. He was very thorough, too. Here's my other clip. Everything's backwards. I can hear the music from that game. I can't see the game. Anyway, let's have a prayer. Get focused for the day. Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this new day. Thank you for blessing us with families. This pandemic has been really something at taking our families away. I'm so grateful to have been vaccinated and to have them back. I'm so grateful that so far we got through it without catching it. Please bless all the little children that they won't catch it and spread it, or that we won't give it to them. We're so grateful for thy blessings. We're grateful for the seasons and how they change, and every day is different. And we're grateful that since life is just a series of trials, which are our little tests, our stepping stones to becoming better. Thank you for helping us through each one of them. Thank you for being available for us to talk to thee or to hold thy hand in green strength. And thank you for giving us goodness around us and for giving us the opportunity to spread goodness. Help us to fill the earth with thy spirit and with thy light and truth and love. Bless us that we may know the truth and the truth may set us free. And fill us with that living water that we never thirst again. And we're so grateful that it works and that we can just be here with thee. As soon as I ask thee to hold my hand, there it is. I'm grateful for my faith. Please bless everyone out there that they'll have greater faith. Faith in thee, and they will follow thee, that I will follow thee. Help me to be better. Help me to be quick to notice my faults and to correct them. Help me to be careful of the vibes I put out and the trails I leave here and there. Help me to always be nice and kind. And thank you for this new day and that the birds are back, even though it's so far north in Canada that we have birds singing. And thank you for the beautiful wildflowers and the spurge and the dandelions which fill the air with fragrance. It's so lovely to have fragrance outside. And bless me that I'll say the right things and do the right things and that follow the promptings. Will be thy hands and feet on this earth for thee. Help me to stay close in tune so that I know what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say, because I sure do say the wrong thing a lot. And these things we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Oh. Hey, you know what? When I'm watching it from here on this video, I can't see if anybody's here with me. How would I do that? Where would I go? You see, it's streaming into YouTube, through YouTube, but I can't see YouTube. I see OBS Studio 26.1.1. 2 pictures. Oh wait, I've still got it only at the other thing. I gotta put it back to this one. There you go, that's better. Can you tell I'm not quite awake and ready for the day yet? I woke up and my body was so painful. But food is the culprit. At least I know that. At least I don't have to just live in pain. But the pain would be a lot worse if I was doing all the other things wrong. One at a time, I took the foods that hurt, or foods that could possibly, the foods I loved. One at a time, I took them and I checked and went off them for 5 days and then ate them to see if I had a lot of pain. Salt gives me pain. Sugar definitely gives me pain. Rice cripples me up. So without them, I am a going concern, because people are concerned where I'm going. Side puffs up. But it's backwards. You're seeing me backwards. That's why I think my mouth looks lopsided, because it's backwards. You know what? Now my hair's gotten so long that when I sit in a chair and it's behind me, it's stuck. That's cool. I'm getting there. Living in the 60s again, I have to do everything I did in the 60s, right? I have to have long hair and I wear long skirts and But I'm all grown up now. I'm all grown up. In the 60s, I was 5 years old when the 60s came. 15 when it left. I was just starting to see that there were hippies out there. I was interested. Now what's happened? The barn is no longer red. The clouds are still slightly pink, not very much. Some of the clouds are that deep kind of grayish purple that they become. Oh, over here you can see some of the clouds. Would you like to look out the window? See, this is a wall. This is what Maya wanted. Her purple walls. I put this chair by this window because this is the window I used to sit at and put my hand out because they were screaming right now. But the bird seed in my hand and sit here and feed the birds. Oh, let me see this now. The Minecraft is not open. So what happens if I do this and join the server and see if it works and then shows up on here? It's a big... Shoot! Oh gosh. Daniel put on all these bad guys on the game. How do I get out in the middle of the water here? So the game has become very dangerous. To my house where I'm safe. Hey, there's chickens running around in here. Is Daniel been here? Put chickens in here. Oh, I left the door open. Okay, so let me see if I can show you the game. I have to go escape to get out of the game to go here. So if I go to this and I go right side camera view, Minecraft Java. See, it's not showing up. Oh, it is showing up. Now, do you see it there? I'm seeing a preview over here to it. I go in the game. So that's on the preview, but it's not on the program. So you're not seeing it, I guess, are you? Look at those cute little chickens looking at me. Can we come in your house? Come on, let's come in. Oh, I must have just died because I have nothing left in my inventory. Look, I have all these chests full of stuff. Okay, so you can't see that. So get out of there. You can't see that either. So the preview is over there, and the program is over here, but it doesn't make sense how to do it then, because over there in the preview is supposed to be what I'm seeing over here. And somehow it's not coming over here, so what's wrong? How can it be over there and not over here? Anyway. So my son had these an Xbox One system and a bunch of monitors, and so Willem got one of these. I'm going to turn this game on because I can't figure out how to do that anyway. So we'll just go just me. So it'll be full screen just me. Can't figure out how it's crooked. Oh, it's backwards. And so he set them up. He set up this one in the living room. So we have this Roku TV thing, smart screen, looking at television. I can't believe that we are so well off to have all these things. But it's because our son is well off and he is gifting us with all these things that he no longer wants. He's one of the blessed that got to keep a job during the pandemic. Oh, I drove through town the other day at 8:30 at night, and it was like a ghost town. There's 50 restaurants in that little village. It's a cute little village, a town, and now they're all closed. They've been closed for 5 weeks now or something. But I got my potatoes planted, and I have the most amazing squashes in the other room. You hear the morning now. Well, this is not very interesting to listen to because I really don't have anything to say. I just didn't feel like just being here and not having anything to do. So I thought I'd talk to you. So today I don't have to teach a new society. Today is Sunday school. I've not read the lesson at all. Don't tell anybody. But I'm sure I'm not the only one. However, have I done anything to maintain my spirituality while I didn't read my scriptures? Well, I've been praying. I've been serving. I had the grandkids over for a sleepover. And then yesterday I had another grandchild over. And family. It's been so nice. And it's the first time since we built these roofs that they've come and been able to sit outside. And we have black flies now, so we have to sit outside for a little while and then come in and the black flies go away. Then we can go back out for a while until they find us again. But we have incense sticks, and you burn them, and then the long ones, you don't want the little ones because they'll just keep burning the floor. But the long ones, they go out when they get rid of the incense part and they're down to the wood. They always turn off. So you stick them in the cracks between the floorboards or cracks in the posts or whatever. And you have them so that you're sitting there and there's this incense going around. It'd be nice if it was all organic. You could make your own with essential oils. If you could buy those incense things, I need some incense things. The sticks with whatever's on them. What is that stuff? Anyway, I need to do that. Figure out how to make incense. It's going to smell good. But, you know, I make my own bed repellent. You take citronella essential oil and castor oil and body butter, or some kind of lotion or cream or something. Mix them together and put it on, and the bugs don't like you. Don't use too much citronella oil, and put it in a lotion because it's too strong on your skin. So this room has been being a storage room for a long time. My daughter was moving, and so in the process we had the storage in here. But now it's got my mother's, the treasures I found as I went through all those 100 boxes in her basement. Could have been more. But anyway, so I have all that stuff stored on the side. That's one of my grandfather's paintings. And did you realize this frame is not wood? It's made out of some kind of plaster. No wonder my mother took such good care of all these things. It looks like a regular frame, but those white spots are where it's been scratched. It's been gouged, which is very easy to do. Who knew? Who knew? That box there, that brown box, says Nancy on it. That's all these things I had when I was young. All these different. It's interesting what makes it. You know, like when they're in grade 1, you have this huge stack of papers in a box. By the time they're in grade 6, you know, you've got a really full box that's been squished down and gone through a few times. Or you've just got everything, and so now you've got a few boxes. By the time you're my age, how much is actually left? There's this bin. My mother had gone through, as she was going through boxes and getting rid of other stuff. Never bills. She always kept every single bill, which is very interesting because I have the checks from things that she bought for me, like paying for my university and books and clothing at the beginning of the school years and all those things. It's very interesting to go through the checks, one check at a time, and see who they were for and what they were for. And life was different, you know. And she had 3 children and a husband, and they were working, and we were in school, and typical life, eh? Typical family. But anyway, I have all those things stored in here. But I put the bed back, so there's the bed. Oops. And see the barrels over there? Those packing barrels. Those are the barrels that we had when we moved from New Jersey to Georgia. I have to go through this again and see how to do it. Because it's not working the way they said. Fade to black. What is this? Quick transitions. Well, I think it's probably been boring enough to listen to me for this long. I do look like, you know, look at my collar. I obviously did not check on things. I didn't finish getting my hair fixed. I have to get my teeth fixed. The longer you procrastinate doing something, for me it's because there's a lockdown and I don't want to catch COVID at the dentist's office from, seems like a pretty good transit place. Anyway, it's 6:18 a.m. The sun has risen. It's still a little bit red on the clouds. Not very many clouds. Oh, it's pretty more on this side. There's no sun! Any of the trees or anything. I'm looking the wrong way. I don't usually sit in this spot. But my back was bad and I thought it would be better for my back. Those little grandchildren are so awesome, but I tell you, when they want something, it doesn't matter how bad you hurt or how bad you know, they really want something and they can't let go of it. And so you gotta let go of being in pain and get up and do it. But there's a limit. I was gonna say I'm going to answer requests only once every 5 minutes. What if I extended it to 15 minutes? I'll do something for you no, that's too long. 10. 5 minutes is probably right. And then we can extend it as their patience and ability to wait grows, right? Except that there's a point at which I get to and I say, I can't move. Sorry. You'll have to do that yourself. You know, it isn't happening. Not for me. I'm going to be able to watch the children now that I'm vaccinated. My daughter, being asked to do something every 5 minutes, it adds up. I mean, you get to the breaking point where after which it's like, and as I lay there in my bed after I was done putting everybody to bed at the end of the day, and it was so familiar. All those years of being a mother for 5 children and the exhaustion that you would feel at the end of the day. But to be a grandmother now that's just sort of retired and whatever do. I'm doing the typical gardening things. I'm going to start painting. So I got paints and I've got easel and my canvases. I'm going to set it up somewhere where I'm going to sit and paint. That's right. Maybe down at the stream. Maybe I'll paint the stream. Isn't that pretty? I'll paint the dam. The beavers are building another dam. They're clearing again, but I have put all those white things around the trees, and anything that doesn't have one is now gone. And they did take some with the white things, one with the white thing. But hopefully I will be saving most of those trees and get through this 10-year period. Every 10 years they come and cut all the trees down, and so there's never any trees growing down there. I remember the first time there were aspens that were this big around, and there was, I guess they were that big. It was beautiful. It was like this whole little aspen grove. I had a name for it. Nothing. The beavers flooded it, and they ate all the trees. They made all these channels all the way through the wetland to the grass to get to the trees, and they ate them all. They logged them. They sat there. They have this way they do it. They sit, and the musk oil, which is near their tail, it drips out. And so while they're sitting, they end up with a spot which is reeking of musk oil. And castor. It's the castor oil. Castor gland. Is that castor oil? Is that where castor oil comes from? Does it come from? No, it comes from the castor bean. Well, something about castor has to do with beavers. Anyway, so it's starting to smell a little bit. The end of the new dam. And you know what? This dam is like about 10 feet away from the original, the Great Dam. When we moved here, everything was perfect. And then a few years later, the beavers came and they built this little dam. And eventually, that little dam grew from across the stream. It created a canoeing parking spot on the far side of the stream. And then on this side of the stream, it came right up through into where the meadow was, and now there's a moat road there, and a moat and an island. And so it came up, and I had a place I would kayak. They had a channel, and as the dam gets higher, I wrote a book about this. The water, it's called Canoeing with Beavers. As the dam gets higher, the water begins to overflow everywhere else. And so the beavers get very busy going around patching the overflows. And they can feel the water because each nerve ending is attached to a hair. And as the water is moving, each nerve ending fires when, of course, the hair is being moved by the running water. So the beaver can feel where the water's going, and so he follows it, and he plugs the hole. Which is very cool because they have a campsite right down there next to where it's just a very rustic campsite, down there beside where the dam is being built. So there's a little chair there by the dam. And isn't that cool? And of course the kids the first thing they said to do is they wanted to take it apart. And that's what children do, and the beavers don't care because they like building. And so they're just going to build and build and build and build and build. And one day, I can kayak alongside the dam again. the marsh woods was flooded. But this one is being flooded upstream of the marsh woods. So the marsh woods really won't flood too much. It depends on how long the dam gets, but it's twice as high as it was, a couple of days earlier. So they're really on the move doing that. But the place where they've been cutting trees down is not near the stream. It's over where the pond, it's by Iceberg Pond. When they dug up the pond, they threw all the stuff out, and so the pond has a sort of a dish around it, and I had them cut a slice out of it so it's level with the water, which of course floods, so I had to have a little barrier there, a couple feet high. And those are the trees around that area that are, there was a lot of trees, and I ran out of those. I think I had $100 worth of those things. I think they cost, you get four in a package, 4 for $6 or something, so $100, maybe I got 75 of them wrapped. Whatever. 50? You'll have to do the math because I don't feel like it. Math just bones up my mind. Can't remember the next number. Like, for instance, you have 2 digits. 2 digits isn't too bad. But I find that when you go when you are counting and you go up above the 9s, 29, 30, 109, 110, 99, 100, 90, 113, like crossing those things is like, I guess in a way, it's like doorways. When you walk through a doorway, everything, like, it's a different world. It's like you're moving on to a new set. And so everything from the last set kind of falls apart at the doorway. So you know what you're going to get. You need a screwdriver, and you know exactly where it is, and away you go. And you go through that doorway, and you think you're going to go get the screwdriver because it's part of the set, the movie that you're making. But in actual reality, it's a different one. And so as soon as you go through the doorway, it's like going through one of those portals. And everything gets a little bit fuzzy and think, what was I here for? Well, isn't this a different room? Where am I going? What am I needing? Anyway, so you lose everything in doorways. But what was I telling you about that for? It was not a doorway that we were losing things in. Math. Interesting. It's like there's a portal. In my mind, I can do some math. I can do very basic, but still I have a hard time going over the 10s. Transitioning over the 10s is like going through doorways. That's what it is, because I don't know what's in there. And that's the most common math problems that you don't remember, are the ones you don't use all the time. So in all of the times tables, you've got the 1s through 5s, which are pretty easy. And then the 9s have a pretty good trick about them. So the 6s, 7s, and 8s. Now you're going to know the ones that are 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8. And you'll know all the ones up to the 5s. But those 6, 7s, and 8s, those are the ones you really... And so those are the ones that put you, when you add them to another number, they're going to put you over beyond the 10. And I'm 65, and you think it's maybe time I memorize those better? 6, 12, 18, 20... No, that was a different one. I make songs up for math kids, for kids. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27... 30, 33, 36, 39, I can count by 3, I do it all the time. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 30, 34, 38. No. Sometimes you mess up. And the 5s, everybody knows the 5s. But the 6s, I need a song for the 6s. What song should it be? When you wake up in the morning, it's 1:45, and you want to have a little fun. You brush your teeth. You brush your teeth. So let's do that with the sixes. Oh, I think it's too long, too fast. When you wake up in the morning, so you have to go 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. That's not going to work. We have to have a different song. Something smooth. How about, I am a child of God, and He has sent me here, has given me an earthly home, with parents kind and dear. That's for teenagers. Lead me, kind me, walk beside me, help me find the way. Teach me all that I must do to live with Him someday. Okay, so we can use that one. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 66, 72, 72, 78, 80, 490. Or you could stop at any place. There needs to be one for the sevens. That's going too slow, though. How about Kumbaya? Kumbaya, my Lord. I sing these for the kids as I push them on the swing. It helped them to learn their tables. But I didn't do the 6s, 7s, and 8s. I did the easy ones, the 3s, the 4s. What was the song I was going to use? We are marching to Pretoria, 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 marching Pretoria today. How's that song go? I forget that song. My grandfather's clock. That's my favorite one. I play that on the violin all the time. Okay, so my grandfather's clock. 7:14, 7:14, 21. Okay, that's going to work. 7:14, 21, 20. We're adding 7, so it's going to be 28. 7:14, 21, 28, 30. Let's see if you're going to add a 6. The 8 is going to go up to the 4. So you're going to go to the 5. So what was the last number before that? Ah, a portal. We went through a portal. So what's our music? 7:14, 28. 7:14, 21, 28. Hey, it might help if I wrote them all down first, and then I wouldn't have to figure them out when I'm singing. I could just sing it. That would get me through the portal too, don't you think? Where everything gets fuzzy and you lose those numbers. They just disappear. You're adding 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, and it's like, okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, and 7. But you see, that's the bad way to do it. That's to do mental math. You really have to round it all out. So 264, we'll say 250, and we'll remember that there's a 14 that has to be added at some point. So there's 264. The only reason I remember the next one is because it's 5, 6, 7, because it's right after that. 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. So we'll round it down to 230 and 250. So we've got 500. Okay, so we had 237. So we've got 37. Wait a minute, did I already add 30? Or did I round it? What did I round it to? Another portal. Hey, look, the sun is starting to hit the trees. Look at that. Clouds have gone back to normal. Disappeared. Look, a bit of light shining down here too. See my fleeces down there? Can you see anything? Well, this has been very lovely visiting with you. I think that maybe my back won't hurt quite. Oh, yeah, it's going to be bad. I have to get up. I have to move around. Get busy. Get that fluid that's in between all your joints that when you start moving it, it limbers up and you feel it doesn't hurt anymore, but you get pretty stiff. And if you don't wait, when you stand up out of the chair, the first thing you have to do is stand up. It's a very big bird coming over this direction. Going very fast. I think it might be a raven. Oh, now it's really getting light out here. See how bright it's getting now? You know, like, this is getting to be the good part of the... Oh, it's a raven. I always answer them. Sometimes they'll come and circle around and look at me. They have good memory, so every time I hear them, I don't know if it's the same guy, but if it's not the same guy, then where does the guy go? And why is he being replaced? So I think he lives here, and he just goes and does this all the time, and I always respond to them, and then they respond back and look at me. But I do it in many different areas, so they are the same birds that fly over a long area. I can't get cardinals to come here. They like to feed on a feeder that's... My mother had a board on the corner of the railing in the backyard, and she had a little rim around them so that the seeds wouldn't fall off. And that's where she put seeds, and she smeared peanut butter. She would use suet or bacon drippings or something. I'm not sure that's very good for the birds because it's all cooked, and they need the raw enzymes. Do you know if you cook milk and you feed it back to a baby calf, the calf will die? Like, not right away, but it doesn't get any nourishment. So you cannot feed a baby cow pasteurized milk, homogenized pasteurized milk, because they will die. They need the enzymes, which are alive. It's in raw milk, but then you get into this whole... It's amazing the controversies that can show up out there. Any two people, you put them together. You remember the Tower of Babel? How the language was confounded? Well, it never got unconfounded. You know that, eh? And I think it's a lot more than the fact that there's now Spanish and French and Russian and Italian and English and whatever languages are out there, which is millions. Hundreds, I guess, maybe thousands. Can you imagine living in a country that has more than 1 billion people in it? 5 billion? Or that's the whole planet. It's a lot of people, isn't it? How do you get to have so many people in one place? I guess they have babies for generations. But I thought India, you have to get a lot of shots to go to India because of all the, like, dengue fever and all these things. Vaccinations. And yet, if there's so much disease, how did the population get so big? Like, that seems to be the way that and our stupidity, that's the way our population numbers do their thing. You know, like rabbits, you have this 10-year thing, so in 10 years there's lots of rabbits. And it has to do with solar flares. I don't know how they figured that one out. I guess they lined up the data, and it was, must have been a pretty big correlation, but, like cause and effect, you can't do causal things. You don't know all the possibilities. Anyway, but so rabbits, their populations go up and down. And then there's the deer. And the deer have to do with how the wolf population is doing, the coyotes, as well as the food source and the harshness of the winter. So the deer populations are always fluctuating. And there's so many wars with people, and so I'm sure that the population of Syria has totally changed, and Venezuela and these countries where people have had uprisings and stuff. A lot of people die and the population goes through these things. I don't think that COVID is really changing the number of population. Well, it is, eh? It's changing. I mean, we've lost more there than in several wars combined. It's a lot of people. I meet people. I have one friend that had COVID, and she's got long COVID, so she's taking her months and months and months and months. And she's not quite herself yet, but she's much better than she's been. So it's like the flu doesn't do that. I'm so glad that there's vaccination and it's going away. The grandchildren came over. All three of them. 2 of them came on Friday and they slept over. It was awesome. It was a sleepover, and they were looking forward to it, having a sleepover. And because they've lived in this house before, they moved out just before this lockdown. Like just before, the month before, they spent the whole month. I think that March was the day that she actually took possession of the apartment. But February, she spent the whole month moving. And so by like 3/4 way through February, they were moved. And then the lockdown showed up. And they were already there. And that was it. We were cut off. But we didn't get it. 8 people at Tim Hortons in the local town have it. It's a very small town, only a few thousand people. It swells up because there's a main corridor of traffic that goes through it. And the traffic all comes from the places that have big amounts of COVID, and they keep dropping it off here and there along the way. Let's go get gas. Oh, we'll shut the gas station down. How about we go and get Tim Hortons? So many people think that it's safe to get fast food. I can't. And to buy food from restaurants. And maybe it is. I don't know. But gee, I think that you're living on the edge. There was this talk about who would you hire. There was a guy that was going to hire a truck driver. And there's 2 guys came in. One said, there's a lot of guys. I'm so good, I can go right next to the line and not ever have an accident. Oh, I'm so good, I can drive right over the edge of the line and not have an accident. And the trip was all mountain roads and everything, and so forth. The one that just drove properly and stayed in the lane got the job, right? See, I went through another portal and I forgot it all. It was because I'm looking out the window at this beautiful sunshine now. Thinking, what am I thinking about? Could be anything. Those trees keep growing. They grew this much last year. They're only, I don't know how old they are. I'd have to go back through my journals and find out. I used to keep my journals, and I tagged everything and I put it all in memories, and it was all very organized. So while I was raising my children anyway, there's really organized memories about all of them. Because I would write my journal, and as I was to write my journal, I would tell myself, no, wait, you have to write down all the things that the children are doing. So this one is getting a new tooth, and this one was now mostly toilet trained, and this one was enjoying, whatever, first day of school, and these other ones, they were older, They're into this music, or they're friends with this person, or whatever it was. So I tried to do that periodically, and so my journal is filled with all these memories, which are live journal. It was a live journal blog. Nancy Today. It's a great journal. But I need to print it out or something, because nothing lasts once it's on the internet. But then again, I won't last. I'll be gone. But not for 15 years. I figure if I live to 85, I have 15 years left. Or 20 years. But 5 years of that, Might be in an old folks' home drooling, thinking I gave up sugar and ice cream for this, so I could live a long time in a nursing home. Anyway, so I figure I have 15 years, 15 summers left. So if I have 15 summers and I want to do gardening experiments, try different things, I have 15 years to do it in. But everything needs to be done sooner than later. If it's something that I want to do in my lifetime, I need to do it now, whatever I can. Because, well, first of all, now is all I have. And the only time I've ever accomplished something is when I've made myself do it now, because I never do it. All right, well, you're going to do it now, Nancy. I gathered all this willow, and I made so many baskets. I think I've made 9 baskets from it. Anyway, and I'm learning now, because the willow is so good, and it's also even. And you know, when I need to do something, everything is drying up because I'm taking too long finishing it. I can always go cut new fresh willow that's not grown yet very much. I have to get out there and finish cutting all my willow. I also need to transplant more willow. I need to cut willow and stick it in the ground and cut off the top. You take a piece, any willow, and you take a piece up to about 1 centimeter, which is 1/2 inch. That's probably pretty big. You stick it in the ground, you cut it off stick it in 10 inches or whatever you could do, and cut it off about 2 inches above the ground. And if there's a little beginning of a bud there, that's good, because it'll grow from there. I wonder if it's cold outside. No. Wind is sucking it all out the house. Well, we're back. That was another portal I went through. I went out there, and then I thought about the wind coming out the window, and then I'm wondering which windows downstairs it's coming in through, or which doors that no longer close properly. The trouble with making a house that's a lot of windows is that the weight of the roof is not supported very much by the window area. If you get a good beam across it, it won't but I find that the doors are harder to open. I think that everything is sort of the weight of it. But they were built properly, so I'm not sure. Built to code. Oh, look! Those are geese, I guess. There's usually the herons come across, but there's also, we live between a lot of lakes. There's 88 lakes within a half an hour of here. See, now that's one thing I want to do, is I want to kayak all 88 lakes. And I've been working on it over the years, but if I have 15 summers left, the one that's going to be the very best for kayaking is probably the one that I'm the healthiest, because if you have your health, you can do anything, and I'm more healthy now than I will be in the future, because that's what aging happens. So I have to do everything I want to do. Now, is this important? No. Is it urgent? No. And do I live in the important, urgent box? Yes. I do what's important and urgent. If it's not important, I usually do that too. Not important, not urgent. I do them a lot. Like make signs, make little tables. I just play. I've been making so many little tables. I've got about 15 of these little tables now beside chairs. It's so awesome to be able to bring a table over and put it beside a chair. And when the family came over yesterday, we put chairs under the breezeway. That sounded like a rose-breasted grosbeak. A rose-breasted grosbeak is a virtuoso robin. Can you hear that? How beautiful that sound is? So it's not a robin, because a robin doesn't have a very good voice compared to the rose-breasted grosbeak. Hey, my daughter has this awesome voice, and the note is like it divides in two, and it's so beautiful. And I realize that sometimes it's like when your voice cracks, like right now, it's almost like it's coming out with two things in it, like there's something in the middle of the vocal cord splitting the note. So you clear your voice. So you have one single note. But what makes her voice so amazing is that it's two notes at once. It's so beautiful. Anyway, I digress. How long have I been on here? Is there a place that says live? 1 hour? Well, I guess it's time to wake up. It's 6:50. I have things to do, places to go, people to see. And obviously a body to prepare. And clothing. Yeah, I guess this is the beginning of another day. Can you see why I never watch these videos afterwards? Because if I have to actually look at myself looking like this and saying such silly things. I heard noise. I heard movement from the neighbor. There are other human beings on this hilltop. I've decided to call that meadow out there Mother West Wind's meadow. Because Mother West Wind loves to play on that meadow. She races hard. She's out there playing train car, locomotive, deep diver. Anyway, but her merry little breezes, she rolls, she jumps, she comes along. Have you read the Thornton W. Burgess books to your grandchildren? They're amazing. She comes along and she dumps the bag out. And the merry little breezes are her children, and she dumps them out on the mountain, on the hilltop. And then she blows them as she loves to do because she's Mother West Wind. Hey, what about the East Wind? Who owns the East Wind? I'm getting a notification or something, but I'm blocking up the whole screen, so I don't know what's going on. But that one was a text message. That was probably from Lori asking me if I'm coming to church today. Because I go to her room in a nursing home, and we set up the Zoom together and watch, and then I can mute and unmute her. Or fix the camera and make sure she's looking presentable. I can be the director. The set director. That's my text message, so we'll check, see if I'm right. Yep. Good morning. She said, see you at church. When do you come back for visits? I think I was supposed to go today, but I'm not sure how long. Alright. Okay, now look at this. There's one by Marianne in Natural Arrow Border Natural Baskets. I have to check that one. And dandelions are going to be nice and long soon. Dry them out first, then rehydrate quickly. Check the past event section for a Sunday session where I taught the basic pairing weave for some inspiration. This is her inspiration. Those are made out of dandelions. They are really well done. Marianne's incredible. I did that on a bottle, so I have a water bottle that has all this on it. But that's dandelion. So when your dandelions grow long, when the whites are really long, don't just cut them with the lawnmower. Cut them, like, you can cut them and dry them. And also your daylilies. Daylily leaves. And if you're in the springtime, go around and just gather all the leaves up off the ground. And there you got them. They're in a circle where all the leaves lay down around the plant. See how we figured that out? Okay. In a big circle. Alright, well, it's 7 o'clock, so I guess I better get out there and go for a walk. Because I'm going to be sitting a lot today. Zooming along with my friends and family. And okay, that's that. I have to remember I'll have to tell her thanks for Thanks for reminding me about that, period. I did notice my dandelions yesterday and thought about harvesting them, period. Won't it be amazing to be down there on the ground harvesting them, period? Do you snip them off with scissors, period? They are rather unbreakable stems, period. No wonder you want to use them for, there we go. I've been wondering about dandelion weaving. Can't wait to try this. Yeah, so unbreakable stems are important, aren't they? Because if you have an unbreakable stem, you're on your way, right? So I guess it's almost time to turn off this video because I got to get out there and go for a walk because I got to get back up here. I'm starting to make hoops that I'm going to work on ribbed baskets. And so I made a little tiny basket, a little tiny hooped basket which is going to attach to the handle. But you know the best way to make it is you make the handle loop and then you make another loop and then you wind the rest of it around there. And then you have your little loop there which is going to become the handle for the little basket and this big one which will be the handle of the big basket. Then you need another one that goes this way which will be the rim and then you started the connections and when you do your God's eye thing you go back and you come around, you go forward, and then you go back, and forward, and go back, and forward, and go back. Always going forward and then back, forward and then back, forward and then back. But when you get it so that you've got 3 rows, instead of continuing up the thing so that it's up on the above the rim of the basket, the rim is here, and your God's eye is like a triangle, like a square there. But if you're a basket maker, you probably have dirty fingernails most of the time. Anyway, Ray is showing that you, instead of continuing to go up and around and back, you go around the stem and down. And then around the back of the stem, and you come in over the top, and then you go back, and back, over the top. Anyway, and so you don't end up with this, you end up with a triangle, which looks very nice. And also, what I've learned, which isn't something I've also never done, is splitting the rods. And she says you start at the tip. I always have started at the base. But you start at the tip, you cut the tip off, and the tip, if you cut it at an angle, it's pretty easy to make, half of it go away this way. And you have to open them so that you're pulling each half with your thumb, and the other part is running down along here. And so you're holding them together, which is holding this in place. You've got one piece on either side, and as you open them, if it's right in the middle, you keep going. If this side is getting fatter, you pull the fat side, and then you find out it's not so fat. And then this side, you pull this side, and then it's getting too fat, and so you pull this side. And the one that's the biggest is the one you keep pulling. And you just keep, keep working away at it, moving down as you're doing it. Starting at the tip, which I hadn't done before. I have some great ideas. Anyway, so I've been working at that, and the purpose was to make a perfect hoop, and not just wrap it around. You make a perfect hoop, and you have to slice them off, and then you wrap them very tightly together so they stay, and you can nail them if you want. But nailing is very different, but what you could also do is you could make a hole and put a dowel through it. It would be like a little tiny stick, a little piece of willow. You could put a couple of them in if they're small enough, But the thing to do is you're supposed to wrap it so tightly that like if you use dental floss, which is not natural, did you know that? If you pull it tight enough and it goes right down into the skin, then it will hold them tightly when it's dried. Otherwise, they'll loosen in spring. This is a good spot to sit. I haven't sat and looked out this window for a long time. Few years. Except little bits. This is a good place. It was so cool having the children sleep here. Anyway, I'm so glad to get near the end of COVID. The temple will be open one day again. I really miss, people say, oh, it's so long to go to the temple. It takes you 4 hours to go down there. Why don't you just go to church at home? Look, we do have church at home. The temple is not church. It's a certain specific, it's like Solomon's temple. They didn't worship at the temple. They worshipped in their synagogues. The temple was for very special ordinances. Anyway, the tabernacle back in those days. And 4 hours to get there and 4 hours back, and so you'd think that would be a tiring trip and you don't want to do it, but we would do it twice a month, and it was really nice spending that time together, talking. Well, he doesn't talk very much. Sometimes he'll listen, or writing my journal and making videos and practicing the violin and seeing all that traffic out there. And I went for a drive the other day just to see people. And it was 8:30 and it was total rolled up the sidewalks in the village. And that's about where we began, and so I guess this is a good time to stop. And I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me, because it's really been nice hanging out with you too. Hey, and Kudo gave me 10 free gigs a month because I'm such a loyal customer. I haven't been with them that many years. But I guess to all these young people, 5 years is like a very long time. 5 years is nothing. See, and that's another thing, is that time is going to go faster for me. Because it's speeding up every year. It keeps speeding up. I think we're getting to God's time is what it is. Where 1,000 years of our time is a day to Him. So we're here on earth for 2.5 hours. Not here very long. We'll be back soon, everybody. Take care of the place. Hope we get back. Wish me luck. Anyway, so 15 years. Probably going to seem like 3. So that means I can't waste time. Just, passing time. I can't do that. I'm going to run out. There's a lot of things I can't do, like places to go, but there are all kinds of things I'd like to learn about what's around me. Like, I think I'm going to start a school. I think I'm going to start a school called Nancy Today Grass Hut Building School. Or Weaving School. Basketry School. Nature School. Probably a nature school is the best, right? Because that includes baskets, it includes domes and teepees, and I think one of the things I'm into learning right now is there's a lot of basketry weaves I've never done. I've always just done randing, the very straight weave, and now twining, where you twist 2 every time you go between spokes, you twist them, and you keep doing that, but you don't really twist them. You bring one into the front and one into the back, and then you bring the one from the back into the front, and the front goes to the back, and now the back goes to the front, and the front goes to the back, and anyway. You have to push them down in between. I'm trying to apply everything I know. So sometimes while I'm chatting away, while I'm weaving away, basket making, I try, it comes into my mind, use all the information you know. I know that big fat pieces don't make good uprights. They don't make good to work with. They don't make your work go faster because they're bigger. No, they just slow you right down. The most perfect ones are all the same, and they're a bit smaller. A pencil size is the very biggest I think you should use of willow. Anything bigger you should use for handles, just that part of the handle, not the wrapping part. You should use that, and you should use them for sticking in the ground and cutting off to make new plants. Or furniture. You can make stools and then try and weave the seats with willow. This is a very interesting willow book I'm reading. It's the Bible book of weaving. It's called Weaving with Willow or Willow Basketry or something. And it's a very big, fat, thick, heavy book, and it's really good. And I feel like I've been on here too long, and I should probably get off, and because, you know, that's the way it is. Okay, it's been fun. Thanks for being here. All right, and get vaccinated. So